This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weight. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Hey, what up? Happy Monday. The Jason Walker Show. Back inside the man cave after a great weekend of football and life. Hope you had a good weekend too. Big show coming up today. We're going to talk to Capitol High state champion football coach Kyle Mihelish after the Bruins beat my Bozeman Hawks 35-14 in the state AA championship. So we'll talk to Coach Mihelish. Did he sleep with the trophy like Guy Almquist did when Capitol boys basketball won the state title last March? Also, George Ferguson, Havre High tennis coach and also sports editor and publisher of the Havre Daily News, will join us. Had a little Twitter conversation yesterday. I tell my student athletes up at the University of Providence, don't engage on the social media. And I didn't really engage. And we'll have a discussion about the Cats and the Grizz. And should the Grizz have made the playoffs? Talk about that with him on This Day in History. Much more coming up. A show you can watch on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. You can listen on Podbean, Network One Sports, JasonWalkerShow.com for everything show related. So hope you had a good weekend. College game day. Of 100 things that College game day did on Saturday with the Cat Grizz game, FCS football, and the show in general, the only mistake, I think, was having Sir Nick Faldo as the guest picker. Dude's lived in Bozeman for 4 months. It's fine, but I think they could have done a little bit better. And they could have given Flint Rasmussen more time than making him rope a mechanical bull. Just my thoughts. You can weigh in anytime at JWalkerSports on the Twitter. You can email Jason at JasonWalkerShow.com as well. So, man, 55-21. What a beatdown. Tommy Mellott, your Frontier. How about your Big Sky Player of the Week offensively? What a performance that Cats did running the football against the Grizz. And it was 7-7 after the first drive from each team. And I thought, okay, we got a game. And then it just steamrolled. And nothing could stop that Bobcat offense. It was unbelievable to watch. Cats end up with the number 4 seed. They get the winner of North Dakota Weber State, which Weber should have been a seed, in my opinion. They should have been in the top 8 and had a bye. Weber, great season for Jay Hill. But Cats beat Weber. Now, look, did Weber help them out last month? Absolutely. 4 bad snaps on punts, 4 safeties. 100% helped the Cats. Helped the Cats on Saturday, too. Same end zone, bad snap. This one turned into a touchdown instead of a safety. But, man, something about that sideline or that end of the field for Montana State, that north end. Woo. Interesting. But Cats will have the bye week. Grizz get into the playoffs. I didn't think they deserved to be in, especially considering they have no wins over a ranked opponent. 4-4 in conference, 7-4 overall, but they have no good wins. Yeah, they were close against Weber. Yeah, they were close against Sacramento State. But they were not close against the Cats. And Idaho beat them at home. They played a couple of games without Lucas Johnson. I get it. All losses. Cats played without Tommy Mellott and still won. So to me, that argument goes out the window. Now, do the Grizz have a future quarterback? Potentially. It was the Britt kid. I thought he played real well, leading the Grizz to 2 touchdowns late in the game. Of course, the Cats' main defense was not on the field. But, man, unbelievable game. We were at my wife's friend's house, coworker, watching the game. She's a huge Grizz fan, the friend. And she was pretty quiet the whole game. Spent most of the game on her phone, not even watching. But touchdown Tommy, just getting it done. His first Cat Grizz start, first Cat Grizz touchdowns. The jump pass, the tight end to tight end. I mean, wow. It was with Snell to Pickering. Pretty impressive performance. So, you agree with the Cats as a 4 seed? Do you agree with the Grizz getting in? You can weigh in. So, the walk-up brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry. 3 distinct divisions so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. You've got milled, handcrafted, and timber frame, and they are absolutely fantastic. They'll work with your budget, create the log home of your dreams. Check them out, Montana Custom Log Homes at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. Congratulations to the 5 state football champions. We mentioned Capital and AA. Big Sandy winning its first title. Lewistown, its first title in a long time. And Belt winning its first title in 28 years. I mean, you had... And then Florence Carlton going back-to-back. But, so they've won 2 in a row. Belt, first time in 28 years. Big Sandy, first time ever. Lewistown, first championship in a long time. And then Capital's first title in 12 years. I mean, there was some droughts. Lewistown's first title since 2001. So, there you go. All our nominees for Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. We'll get to that here coming up in just a little bit. But congratulations to all the state champs. And I know last week we gave volleyball all the volleyball champs, all 4 of them, Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. Man, do we do all 5 football teams in the one state in high school? Do we do the Cats? And that performance, Tommy Mellott. I mean, that offensive line for the Cats, whew, just impressive. We'll do some thinking for the Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to one of the winning coaches, Kyle Mihelish, Capital. His first state title as a head coach. So we'll talk to Kyle Mihelish when we come back here on the Jason Walker Show. Happy Monday.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com. Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Ah, summer. A time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little or a lot, your choice, have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. L&P Grocery offers Boulder a convenient shopping experience, whether you're stopping in for a few things or stocking up for the week ahead. From fresh produce and meat to all the staples you need to feed your family, you'll find it here. L&P Grocery is also proud to have partnerships with local brands and carry products unique to the area. Stop by to exchange propane tanks, pick up fishing tackle, grab your prescription, or get your photo taken at the Pitcher Kiosk. They're delighted to be the one-stop shop for local area Boulder residents who want to support local business. Visit lnpgrocery.com and at 215 North Main Street.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back on a Monday, Jason Walker Show. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. I think we got to give our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. How about... Man, I want to give it to the 5 state champs for high school. We're not going to give it to the football team from MSU. We're going to give it to the university. Waded Cruzado, Leon Costello, what they were able to do with College Game Day to make it an amazing atmosphere down in Bozeman on Saturday. Montana State University deserves a lot of credit. They found out Sunday morning, and within a couple of days, ESPN people are there, interviews, all that stuff. So that's our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. And if you need performance, think about this. We've had snow for a couple of weeks now. It's been cold for a few weeks now. Remote starters. Auto Concepts has them. They install them. And it's a lifesaver. I don't know about life. It's a game changer. How's that? It will change your life, though, I promise. remote starters, auto concepts. They also have car stereos. They have bumper guards, grill guards, cattle guards, whatever you want to call them. The bed rugs for your vehicle, very nice, very, very nice. I slept in my truck in August at my brother's bachelor party out at Canyon Ferry, and I had the bed rug, so I was able to just crawl in the back. And, of course, the tonneau cover helped too. But amazing. You need to stop in. AutoConceptsHelena.com. Speaking of performance, they did it all year. 12 games, 12 wins. They are the state champs. They are the Capital Bruins. And joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline is the first-time head coach, state champ, Kyle Mihelish.
What's it mean? What's it feel like when I say state champion head football coach Kyle Mihelish?
No, it feels good. But, you got to have the horses. You got to have good coaching staff, all of those things. We're a good mixture this year. I was just talking to somebody in Costco congratulating us for winning the state title. And, I thought about this last night. You need all sorts of personalities in order to be a good football team. I mean, you need to have the straight and narrow guys. You got the guys that do it by the book, and you also need some guys that are on the edge and guys in between. And that personality of this 2022 Bruin football team was certainly that.
This was a championship in the making for about 4 years. When you look back at that freshman class that went undefeated, and you and I have talked about it both on the air and off the air, that this was going to be a special team, and they showed it Friday night and really all of 2022.
Well, they did. When you think about it, that's like, I know, we wouldn't have played the 13 games we had to bye, but a 12-week grind there during the season, and we've been grinding since March 8, right after the season when we started with meetings. And they've bought in, and certainly when they were younger, we knew they were going to be a special crew. And they have just enough kids behind them that helped them out along the way this season. But no, they were billed to be great, and they answered the call, and they did it.
Wow, that's a great line. Did you think of that one yourself?
Yeah, I'm a part-time English teacher as well. I'm pretty good at
I like it.
Throwing the language around.
I like it. Billed to be great, and they answered the bell.
Yes, they did.
That's impressive. Take me through that game, because for the third quarter, it could have gone either way, the way Bozeman was able to finally get some offense going. But you guys answered in a big way, with sacks, with Talon Marsh, Tom Carter, of course, in that first half, but Hayden Opitz, a couple of touchdown runs. But you guys just did what Bruin football does, and that's play defense and control the clock.
Well, they stayed consistent. The third quarter was a little rough on both sides of the ball. Defensively, we couldn't seem to stop them. They were just continue to march, and they were kind of winning the field position game. They get down to our goal line. They're on about the 3 or the 4, and they run a little ISO play, and Opitz takes on the fullback, and then he hits the running back, jars the ball loose, and Joey Lauerman jumps on it, and that saved us on that. So opportune turnover there. And offensively, we just kind of struggled as well. We couldn't get first downs. I don't know if we, maybe a little conservative. We're up 21-14. We're trusting that our defense is going to get the job done. I know stats are stats, but you certainly look at them and think to yourself, well, our defense has given up 11 points a game, so maybe we're capped out here. But and I know stats are stats, and you can't really look at that stuff. But we were consistent all year defensively. They played hard. They played well. And then it was just kind of an explosion partway through the fourth quarter. Some good throwing by both Joey and Hudson. Mm-hmm. We had some great catches by Kovic and obviously the other guys. But No, it was a real team win, and the guys that were on special teams, kind of our younger guys, role guys, they did their job. We talk all the time about, just this is your role. Your role is kickoff. You may get 5 reps a game. You may get 1 or 2. So, and those kids stepped up, and we had a good special teams performance. We played well in all 3 phases of the game, and when you do that, obviously you can win football games.
We're talking with state champion football coach from Capitol High, Kyle Mihelish. What was school like today?
It was, everybody was pretty excited. Everywhere he went, everybody's like, hey, congratulations, and hey, you're state champ, and congratulations. So it was a celebration today. Everybody's pretty excited.
Do you get to take the fire truck ride tomorrow?
We're going to take the fire truck ride on Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Okay.
Tomorrow at 3:30. This has kind of been a whirlwind the last couple of days. We're sizing for rings tomorrow at 3:30.
Ooh, yeah.
Fire at 3 on Wednesday, and then we've been invited to walk in the Parade of Lights at 6 o'clock on Friday night downtown Helena.
Who carries the trophy Friday night?
It'll probably just kind of like what we did last Friday. It went from guy to guy. I mean, everybody seemed to get a picture with it in front of the scoreboard with their buddies, their position groups, their coaches, their girlfriends, their families. So that trophy has been traveled. Right now, I took it home, and it's sitting in my kitchen right now, next to a sign that my daughters made. I didn't know they did this. Our dad owns this state, and they presented that at the end of the game when it was over. So they were holding up that sign, and they even made the top 5 plays of the week or something.
Nice.
Montana Sports or
nice. Have you slept with the trophy since Friday night? Because I know Almquist slept with his in March when they won state basketball.
No, I was letting the trophy be itself and enjoy its new home, getting used to the climate and the weather in old Mihelish household there.
I like it. First one in, 11 years, or 12 years, I guess. What's this one mean? Because it's your first as a head coach. You've got ones as an assistant, but how different is this one?
It's certainly different. I mean, obviously your mark on it's a little bit different than being an assistant coach. I was lucky enough to coach in 6 with Murph and win 4. So no, it's a hard thing to come by. I mean, everybody grinds and everybody works as hard as they can, and very fortunate to put ourselves in this position. It certainly means a lot as a head coach. There have been some reminders from the assistants and my buddies and people around the state, like, hey, now you won't be the only coach in Capitol High history that didn't win the state title. And I'm like, hey, thanks for the vote of confidence there, buddy. Way to find the positive in this. And so I got a lot of that Friday and Saturday, but they're just rousing me a little bit. But you certainly think about that stuff. Like, do I really want to be the guy for the rest of history?
Right.
To not be a state champion coach in Capitol High history when there's such a rich tradition and pride. And so we got that accomplished.
We're talking with Kyle Mihelish, Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. I saw the picture in the paper of Hudson and Joey. What's with the hair?
The Mohawks?
No, I know the Mohawk thing is a tradition. Going back years, but theirs was dyed, like some sort of yellow.
Well, each position group has a color.
Okay.
So the quarterbacks were green. Some of the 2 all-state guys or the 2-way guys were kind of white. Receivers were, purple. They decided all of that stuff. But boy, I tell you what, I kind of got a little angry at everybody the Sunday before the state title game because we're more concerned about what color our hair is going to be. I said, none of it's going to matter unless we get focused in on Monday and get ready to play a game here.
So my wife was a senior for Armageddon in 2003. And I know you remember that. And she said, she knew about the tradition, the Mohawks for playoffs, all of that stuff. But she said Monday was like a funeral home because, all these football players had shaved heads. How long are these guys going to keep their Mohawks?
Well, they're probably going to keep them through this week. I see a lot of them today in school had kind of buzzed it off or went somewhere, did it themselves or went somewhere. I'm sure prior to basketball starting, Coach Holmquist will want them clean heads and ready to concentrate on a basketball season, which is the right thing to do.
That is very true. At least, you get to cover it up with the helmet on the field and those don't come off. So, yeah, I don't think Coach Holmquist doesn't strike me as a, hey, let's dye our hair kind of guy. Of course, he doesn't have any.
In his older years, he's kind of lightened up.
He kind of has, but he doesn't have hair to dye, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's true.
Before I let you go, I got to ask about the Cat Grizz game. Did you see it going that way? I mean, holy cow, what a performance! And we knew how good Tommy Malott is, but that Grizz defense got shredded.
Yeah, they did, and I think we talked about this last week. The thing that I was anxious to see is that the Grizzlies bring so much pressure, bringing 6-man pressure, 7-man pressure, guys off the edge. And when you rely on a blitz scheme like the Grizzlies do, if you are right, you're right, and everything works out. But if you're wrong, then I think that's what you see the result of that. And so much misdirection. I mean, you're getting those fast guys on the perimeter like Tommy Malott and that Johnson kid, and they have good receivers. And we're talking to Coach Armstrong at camp this year. He goes, everybody's kind of bagging on my O-line, but I think our O-line is going to be better this year than we were last year. And obviously, if you're going to run for 439 yards, you got a pretty good O-line, and you got a pretty good coach doing that.
The Cats now have beaten the Grizz in the last few years with 2 completions and like 10 completions, I think, this week or this year. But what's the least amount of times you guys have thrown the ball and won?
I don't know. In recent memory, it might have been that Russell game last year. Or was that last year when we went to Russell and beat him in the playoffs? I think we only threw the ball a handful of times, maybe 7 times, because the wind was just howling up there. And that was the first time in my coaching career at Great Falls Russell last year. We won the toss, and we elected to kick. And then if we chose to do that, we could kick with the wind. Russell didn't have anything to defend or whatever it may be. We won the toss and kicked. We buried them, and then as the second quarter started, the wind flipped. So we had the wind first and second quarter.
That works out in your favor. I know Clint Lang down at Jefferson did that at Malta this year in the playoffs. They won the toss and chose to kick it, and then they had to kick it in the third or at halftime too, and ended up working out for them. So
sure, no, that's especially in Montana with the wind rolling here late in the year. It's certainly something to think about.
Well, congratulations. Proud of you. Yes, I picked Bozeman, but it was, I do that so Coach Carter can get mad at me. Lee doesn't like when I pick against the Bruins, so I went with my alma mater, and you guys ended up getting a win. So I did it for you,
Yeah, there's
Coach.
nothing wrong with that. You gotta stick with your blood there.
Yeah, I knew you guys were going to win, though. I just knew it. I just couldn't bring myself to... I picked 24-21 was the final, so at least I picked a close game. But
Well, it was close.
yeah, well, till the fourth quarter.
It was 21-14 there for quite some time.
Yeah. But congratulations. I know my wife is super happy, and I'm happy for you because I get to talk
Thank
to you
you. I appreciate it.
every week. So tell the kids hi and congrats, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Kyle Mahelis joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle. It's your home. It's your auto. It is your life. Mike understands that. He will treat you like family as well. Get a hold of Mike Miller State Farm in Helena today. 12 state titles now. 12 state titles for the Capital Bruins. I believe they're still behind CMR. I think. We'll have to get our research department on that. And by research department, I mean me. But they're real close. And I think that's right. But I could be wrong. Who knows? It's happened a time or two. Not often, but a time or two. So, there you go. Does this have it? Let me see if this pulls it up. No, Butte has the most. The last coming in 2012. CMR's last came in 2009. They have 13. Great Falls High, its last title came in 88. Capital now has 12. So the Bruins now tied with Great Falls High for third most all-time state championships. Little stat of the day there for you. Just happy to help the ball club. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and when we return, we're going to talk to George Ferguson from the Havre Daily News, Havre High tennis coach. Little conversation on the Twitter. Not bad, but I just wanted to give him the platform to come on and speak his mind after he called me out. He called me out because I said, why are the Grizz in the playoffs? He called me out. We'll talk to George Ferguson from Havre when we return here on the Jason Walker Show. This segment brought to you by Ruckers Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Ruckers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Ruckers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals. L&P Grocery offers Boulder a convenient shopping experience, whether you're stopping in for a few things or stocking up for the week ahead. From fresh produce and meat to all the staples you need to feed your family, you'll find it here. L&P Grocery is also proud to have partnerships with local brands and carry products unique to the area. Stop by to exchange propane tanks, pick up fishing tackle, grab your prescription, or get your photo taken at the Pitcher Kiosk. They're delighted to be the one-stop shop for local area Boulder residents who want to support local business. Visit lnpgrocery.com and at 215 North Main Street.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Ah, summer. A time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little, or a lot, your choice. Have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
Welcome Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show on a Monday. This segment brought to you by Bowser's Lucky Dog Casino. Great games, great staff, great fun. Stop in on Dredge in Helena. On this day in history coming up, the walk-off and more. But I tweeted out on Sunday yesterday after the selection show, why would a 7-4 Grizz team get into the playoffs over, I don't know, say a team that was a co-champ of its conference and lost out on a coin flip? And this guy responded, why do you care as a Cats fan? So I reached out and said, hey, come on the show. So he did. I like that. It's better than some people who call you out on Twitter and then never come on. But his name is George Ferguson. He's the Havre High tennis coach. He's also the sports editor and publisher of the Havre Daily News, and he joins us now on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. All right, so I invited this guy on the show because we were talking FCS playoffs. His name is George Ferguson. He is the sports editor and publisher, Havre Daily News, also Havre Blue Pony tennis coach.
Yeah.
Did you coach the Wagner?
I did.
Okay.
I coached him, Mariani, all those guys. Those were pretty right when I first started is when they were in high school, actually. So
okay, yeah. So you got lucky.
Yeah, barely. Yeah.
It's when you get those athletes and those tennis players. Yeah.
Yeah, I walked into that, so it's pretty good deal. Yeah.
But no, so I have you on, and I appreciate you coming on. And I'll keep it civil. You're a Grizz fan.
Yeah.
I made the comment yesterday on the Twitter that how does a 7-4 team that finished 6th in its league get not only a playoff game, but a home playoff game when a team that shared a conference title like Middle Tennessee State didn't get into the playoffs? And you responded back, you're a Cat fan. What does it matter? Why do you care?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get you on here.
Yeah. And, the first thing, I kind of jumped the gun on that a little bit, Jason. I follow your Twitter. I follow your show. You're kind of in the same boat as me. We're in this business, but we're also fans, so you kind of toe the line of both ways and everything. And basically what I would say about, first of all, the Grizz getting in, I totally agree that they definitely didn't play their way in. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's in my opinion, it's one of those cases where two things can be true at the same time. Do I think the Grizz looked like a team who deserved a playoff bid Saturday night? Absolutely not. They got demolished. Now, 99.9% of the credit for that should go to the Bobcats. They were amazing. Don't really want to rehash that. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. But basically, kind of my feeling about people who don't maybe agree that the Grizz should have got in, I would say this. Number one, follow how the FCS selects teams and selects those home games on that first weekend. And you kind of know a little bit more about why the Grizz, Delaware, and Eastern Kentucky were probably teams that they leaned on, because they're known commodities that are going to submit a high bid. And even though those bids aren't open until after the selection, the people in that room know. You know what I mean? So we know that. And the other thing I'd say is in this FCS, the FCS we have today, I think you could look at the Grizz with the eye test and say, on their good day, they're still one of the best 24 teams in the country. Does that mean a lot? Are they going to go to the national title game like the Cats did last year? Unlikely. I'm going to admit that. But I think, like I said, I think two things can be true. The Grizz didn't look like a team who deserved an at-large bid on Saturday, but throughout the course of the season, and when you're talking about some of the teams that they probably were up against on the bubble, are they a better team week 1 through week 12? My opinion is yes. Now, you can debate all day long on whether that should matter or not, but if you listen to Lucas Sem's talk with the chairperson of the committee, he was like on the choosing between UND and Weber State for who got that home game because they both had big bids. He literally said, well, to us, Weber State just looked like the better team.
Right. So,
eye test apparently matters. We talk about it all the time with the NCAA tournament. Apparently it matters a little bit here too. And that's all I would say. That's my feelings on the Grizz. I will say this. If the Grizz had not got in, and I was prepared for them not to get in, I woke up because I covered this. I wanted to watch it. I was ready for them to not get a bid. And when the selection show came on and Jay Walker said, hey, there's going to be some big fan bases that are going to be disappointed. He put it something like that. Yeah. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be. I was almost certain he was talking about Montana because he knows Montana well, that sort of thing. And had they not got in, I think myself and a lot of Grizz fans would have been like, it is what it is, man. They didn't play well enough, so I would have been okay with it the other way.
Well, let me ask you this, because when you look at the resume, there's not a win over a ranked opponent. Mm-hmm. You're 6th in your own conference.
Yeah.
And I know, the argument, well, Lucas Johnson didn't play against, Weber, and he didn't play against Sac, but Tommy Malott was injured for 2 or 3 games. The Cats still won those games.
Yeah.
And yeah, things had to go right for the Weber win. I mean, that wasn't going the Cats' way until the long snapper decided to forget where he was, which happened against Saturday. Oh,
yeah. Crazy.
Something in that end zone, too. It's the same end zone.
Something about that, yeah.
But, so you could say the eye test, yeah, they lost close to Weber. They lost in OT to Sac State, but they didn't beat anybody. And they got beat at home by Idaho, which is in the tournament.
Right.
But how do you jump a UC Davis, which had a better record in conference than you did?
Well, I mean, Jason, I'm with you on all of that. And you can't, if you're going by, you pull up the schedule and you call that a resume and you just go down the list. Yes. I don't know what the record ended up being as far as their opponent's record, but it wasn't, it wasn't good.
No.
But UC Davis didn't meet the one threshold they always talk about in the FCS, and that's the 7 Division I wins.
Right.
Had they beaten Sac State, the Grizz were out. I think that is obvious. And Delaware may have been out too.
Mm-hmm.
One of those two was for sure done had UC Davis. So I can't sit here and argue that UC Davis isn't a better or didn't have a better resume on paper than the Grizz, but the 2 criteria they obviously don't meet is the 7 wins and probably would not have submitted a very good bid because UC Davis just doesn't draw well.
Right.
All of our Big Sky California schools just don't draw well, unfortunately. Nobody really does except for the Cats and Grizz anyway,
right.
In our conference.
Yep.
But so yeah, to your point, I cannot argue those points. And that's why I'm sitting on both sides of that equation. Like I'm glad the Grizz got in. I want to go watch one more home game, blah, blah, blah. But had they not got in, I would not have been on Twitter arguing with people for why they should have got in.
Sure.
Because, that's just but you do this too. You follow this and it's kind of a sad reality. The Grizz situation and UT Martin and Eastern Kentucky and UC Davis, sort of the sad reality that I don't think enough people are looking at is the state of FCS football.
Mm-hmm.
Just the depth of it. It just isn't what it once was. When you take out App State and now you take out Sam Houston and you take out Jacksonville State and whoever else, James Madison, and God, just from, when I first started, when I went to school in the early 90s, they were still 1AA. It's like, It's just not the same. It's just not the same anymore. And then, you have a 2014 field and all of a sudden 7-4 Grizz teams look really attractive to the NCAA. 7-4 Delaware makes them happy,
right?
Versus if this was a 16-team field, the Grizz are so far an afterthought and all that, it's not even funny. So.
Well, to your point with how we started this whole thing, and with what we do, yes, we're both fans of teams, but we also get to have opinions. And that's just where I was coming from is, here's the facts.
Yeah.
How does this happen? And that doesn't mean being a Cat fan or not. I saw a Reddit college football thread was, making a lot of questions about a lot of teams. And look, the Grizz, we know their playoff history. They haven't been great the last decade. They made a nice little run, last year. But to get a home game under the lights with every other game on ESPN Plus, this is the lone game as well that's also on national television. Like, I mean, are they relying too much on the past?
Well, I think Grizz fans do, and I think the FCS in general probably does. Now, let me ask you this, Jason, because you saw all of the Grizz fans who are mad about game day being in Bozeman. I would like to raise my hand and say I legitimately was not one of them. I wrote a column about it. I believe it was good for both programs. I said on Twitter, one thing I said to one Cat fan was, I think, because he was kind of calling out Grizz fans for being butthurt, and I said, would you have said the same thing had game day actually went to Missoula last year like they almost did, which was, it was very close from what I was led to believe. Would you have still said it's good for the state and so on and so forth? But anyway, I wonder a little bit. It cracks me up now that you get an ESPN2 game. They never show the first round of the playoffs on one of the regular network channels.
Makeup.
All of a sudden now, here the Grizz get sort of almost like that game would have almost gone unnoticed had ESPN not jumped on that. And you're like, was that almost like a mea culpa for not going to Missoula? At least the legend has it that Kirk Herbstreit like put his foot down and said, we're not going, and then the rest is history, whatever. They didn't come for whatever reason. So it's almost like did ESPN, they had that time slot. They're like, hey, let's throw them a bone, So
it's like a makeup call in basketball.
But,
No, and I mean, look, they deserve it. It's I went over to Washington Grizzly Stadium for the first time in my life last year for the playoffs against Eastern Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Walking around, you're like, okay, I can see the allure. They did it nice. Danny Washington's money was fantastic. The press box is still horrendous, but as you well know,
all the time.
It's
pathetic.
But had I not been in Auburn 2 weeks previous, I probably would have been more impressed with Washington Grizzly Stadium. And look, the Bobcats are catching up. I think game day did everything 99 out of 100 things right, aside from Sir Nick Faldo. I think they covered everything.
I'm a golfer, and I agree with Nick Faldo. That was terrible.
Yes.
Absolutely terrible. How could they have not done better diligence than that? No offense to Nick, but I don't think they realize. I mean, I don't think he's lived in Bozeman yet for a whole 365 days.
4 months.
Yeah.
4 months.
I mean, it was a reach for sure.
Yes. No, I agree. And, they gave Flint Rasmussen 2 minutes of time. I think Flint, not enough people probably know Flint to be a guest picker across the country. But man, they missed the ball on that one. But I do, I was reading eGriz and they were commenting on the size of the crowd and all that. I thought it got good towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, it was 3 below when they started at 7 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I didn't go until 9. I showed up at game day at 9 a.m. I just was like, I'm not going to get up front regardless. I'm not doing the sign thing. So I'll go for the last hour. I had a bunch of friends down there and tailgates and all that. And so 9 and I thought, what a scene. Yeah. What an amazing scene. I watched it on TV till I drove down there. What an amazing scene. It was great. I have no complaints whatsoever about game day going to Bozeman as a Grizz fan, as a Montanan. I don't care. It's fantastic, and it's the best thing that could happen to the Brawl. They may never do it again, but how could I've been saying, I'm sure thousands of other people, Missoula or Bozeman, they needed to acknowledge that game on College game day and be there, and they finally did. And anyone who is throwing darts at Bozeman this or whatever, that's stupid. Honestly, it's College game day. They came for the rivalry. And this is what I said to the one guy on Twitter. I said, this isn't cat shade. This is just a fact. They didn't pick a different MSU home game. The Grizz were still 50% of the reason they came to. It was the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now they came to Bozeman and they did it big for Bozeman deservedly. But if they didn't pick the Cats versus UC Davis, to be at game day that night. So Grizz fans should take some comfort in that. It was still about the game.
Yes.
You know,
I brought this up on the show last week, George. Where on campus would game day fit in Missoula? Because it is tight over there. There's not a lot of space. You know, MSU, you had Dice Field. It's wide open. You had all of that. Where would they be able to set up? Was my question. In the
I think the only thing would have been, God, and it wouldn't have been the greatest spot. They would have had to kick people out of the main tailgate field there, you know, and do it from there. And I mean, they would have had because main hall would be like the iconic backdrop or whatever, but you wouldn't have fit, like you said, you wouldn't have fit it there. And, you know, it's whatever. It didn't happen. And the reason I wanted it to happen so much more last year when it got so close too, is because that was one of those epic Cat Grizz games where they were both there was just so much going on there. Right. Where this year, you know, the Grizz, I wrote a column about it. The Grizz didn't do their part to make November that weekend as big as it normally is. You know, they didn't handle their business, and you can blame Lucas Johnson getting hurt for some of that, but like coming in with 3 losses and generously ranked number 13 at the time, the Grizz didn't do their part to make that game as big as we probably thought it was going to be, say, back in August.
Right.
You know, where the year before it had all the side stories to it, you know, and they were both great and they were both playing for so much, and it didn't happen, but it was great for Bozeman. No complaints. I was there. I have nothing but cool feelings about game day and what they did, except for the guest picker. They blew it.
They did.
Now, someone told me, a friend of mine who's a big Cat booster told me they begged Kevin Costner. Not that I was necessarily leaning that way, but apparently they tried really hard to get him and go with the whole Yellowstone thing, which I think a lot of people are actually dreading.
Yes.
But, you know, Kevin Costner at least probably knows college football a little bit more than Nick Faldo. He wouldn't have called the game a match like Nick Faldo did. So.
His hype video the other day before the game day was funny. A great tournament match game.
Game. Yeah. So, you know, Grizz fan aside, I don't care. That was not about, in my opinion, that was not about who had the better this or that. That was just great for all of us.
Yes.
That care about the rivalry.
I think the rivalry won, the both cities won, the state won, the conference won. You can't go wrong with it. Okay, sticking with the Grizz theme before I let you go.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you read it's time to get rid of Bobby? I mean, he's 6-5 against the Cats. It's not like he's got.
My thoughts are there is no question that people in that shop need to look in the mirror and say, come on, like the whole RTD thing is ridiculous at this point. Some of the comments made in press conferences are just stupid. I voiced my opinion on how he's treating the media these days. And actually, I told Kent Haslam how I felt because he knows me and I've been in those press conferences. He said, well, I'll just tell Bobby you said that. And Bobby knows me a little bit. And I said, you know what? Like, fine, if that's the way you're going to do it. But, you know, I don't know that the call for his head is any different than any other, you know. I mean, that's college football fans do it all the time. And I don't know that would remedy the things that are maybe not going right for the Grizz.
Well, who are you going to get to replace him?
But exactly. And now, am I a big believer sometimes or is it playing out that the sequel's never as good as the original? That's sort of playing out right in front of our eyes.
Sure.
To be honest with you. So I won't sugarcoat that and I won't make excuses. It's not going in the same direction that people hoped, that they just rested on what happened from 2002 to 2009. And that's just a fact. Do I think he should be fired? I'll say no for this reason, and it's kind of maybe a cop out, but whatever. I'm not a football coach, and I stick up for coaches until they give me a reason not to, because I've been one for 20 plus years. But they got to make some changes. I think they got to make changes in some of the staff. I think they got to make, which I don't think Bobby will, honestly. But I think they need to. I think they got to make changes in how they recruit. I've been given some access to like their philosophies with recruiting. It is a 180 from what the Cats are doing. I'll tell you that. And no offense to some of the kids there, but I don't think it's working. And then the whole philosophy, which starts with the head coach of like, I'm old school and we're going to do it this way. And you're going to either be with us or you're not. Come on. That does not work with 18 to 20-year-olds anymore.
Especially in this day and age.
No way. It is. Nick Saban doesn't do that. Yep. Like, come on. You got to roll. You got to change with the times or get out of the way and let somebody else do it. That's what I'll say about that. And we all know Coach Houck he's not very receptive to what I just said, which is you got to adapt. I'm not talking about X's and O's even. I'm just talking about the approach.
Right. I think this is maybe a long forgotten thing, and maybe I'm just the only one going to bring it up, but how big of a deal was the whole 37 debacle into a 7-4 season? Because I was told that he met with Kent Haslam, Houck did, and Kent said, "Is this a hill you're willing to die on?" And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And
the same things. Yeah.
So how much of a factor did that play inside the locker room in your eyes?
Had to. Can't deny it. I mean, all this is speculation.
Right.
Knowing what you know about sports in general, how could it not have at least been an issue where feelings were hurt? And probably, I hate to say it, but the kid who's wearing number 37 has probably been offended or disappointed or hurt by that situation, if all is true, the whole season. He's played his guts out, in my opinion. He's played his heart out. But will he be the biggest fan when graduation comes next spring? I don't know. And if what's true, if what I heard and what you heard is true, I was disappointed in just even those, as a fan of the Montana Grizzlies, I was disappointed if that's true, because you just went and basically chucked the entire process of how number 37 has always been done and why it's so revered.
Yep.
You literally just got in the way of that entire process if it's true,
Yep.
And it's revered because we're led to believe as fans that Jace Lewis got to just go over to Marcus Wellnell's house or however it's in, or take him out to dinner or do whatever and say, "You're my guy, man, and I'm giving it to you. Go do me proud." And if that wasn't allowed to be done this time, that's crap.
Yep.
Because they have made money off of the legacy of number 37.
100%.
So I don't know what's true and what's not. But if what we heard was true, I'm disappointed, and it had to have caused some resentment.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. Who wins the national championship? Who plays in the championship this year?
Jason, I tell you what, let's go back to where we started first and talk about me jumping you a little bit on Twitter, which I wish I wouldn't have done, but now here I am, and I wanted to be on your show. You got to call me some other time too about other stuff.
Oh, for sure.
But I feel the Cats, in my opinion, today, going into the playoffs, they are the second best team in the FCS, in my opinion.
Okay.
Having said that, and believe me, if they would have went the way I thought, which is the Cats would have still been on the road. I thought they were going to be the 3 seed. Sac was the 2. I completely thought the FCS, those semifinals.
Oh, we lost George there for a second. Havre tennis coach, sports editor, publisher of the Havre Daily News, George Ferguson, joining us here Jason Walker Show. We'll work to get him back here. Technology, it's great when it works, and Haver has it. We'll work to get George back on here, but do you agree with the Cat seed 4? I thought they were going to be a 3. They were ranked 3rd in the country, and if George gets back, I'll bring this up to him. But with the Grizz getting in, history, how much did NDSU history play into them jumping the Cats for that seed? We'll see. We'll try to get George back here, and we'll get him definitely on more and more. So it's a good wealth of knowledge for sure. But hopefully we can get him on here. We'll see if he pops up. But yeah, it's good insight from a Grizz fan who also is a sports guy. I'm a Cat fan who's also a sports guy, and I have opinions just like everybody does. Did I think the Grizz deserve to get in? No. And based on that performance Saturday, like George said, absolutely not should they have been in. But that's my opinion. We'll work to get George right here on the Jason Walker Show. But let's do On This Day in History. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's back. Maybe. Oh, turn your mic down. There we go. There we go. Oh, geez. What's going on? I thought Haver had it. Oh, you're all muffled there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there it was. Running.
Okay. So you were saying you thought the Cats should have been the 3 seed, Sac State.
Well, I thought that was
Uh-oh.
How's that working now?
That's better.
Okay. I thought that what was going to happen was the Cats would get the 3 seed and Sac would be the 2 seed. What I was going to say is I think the Cats would have won that game, even in Sacramento. Who do I think is going to win the national championship? North Dakota State, until somebody beats them. That's what I'm going with. How can you not? Like,
right?
People just don't step up and beat them when they have the opportunity. And it's like I've heard. Did you go to Frisco last year?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard they basically it's like almost like they live there. It's like their hometown.
Yeah.
And it's like hometown. So,
I did my sports show. I did the show from a place called Tight End Sports Bar. It's fantastic. The night before the game was full of Cat fans and North Dakota State fans. And North Dakota State fan has been going to this same bar for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's their second home. And you're right. Until someone knocks them off. Now, I brought this up while you were reconnecting. Grizz getting into the playoffs, a little bit of history there. NDSU jumping the Cats, does that bode because of their past history?
There's a good chance that's part of it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely part of it. And I think it's kind of funny the Grizz keep getting sent there because they're just going to get demoralized probably. But I mean, if they even beat SEMO, they got to play well, and we know that Lucas Johnson's going to play and all that. So, but I definitely think that the Bobcats have it. They could beat any one of those other teams. There's no doubt in my mind. I just wonder, here's my feeling. I wrote this column about mid-season. I said, hey, that offense is, what we're going to do? Try to stop us. We're not changing. We are who we are. Nobody stopped it yet. But it just seems like the 2 programs that have built their foundations on defensive line and offensive line play, and the Cats are now almost to that because I believe Jeff Joe saw North Dakota State's philosophy and South Dakota State's philosophy that this is what we need to do.
Yep.
They might run into the one program that can at least keep that running game at arm's length a little bit, where obviously Montana's defense didn't even stand a chance. So I would like, it'll be very interesting if they get to the semis and have to play in Brookings after last year. God, I don't know, that'll be an interesting game between South Dakota State and the Cats if they both get there, because they're built to kind of stop each other, which would be interesting. But man, all trap talk and all that aside, I'm impressed with MSU and what they do, because it's not fancy. I mean, it's almost borderline triple option. It's not triple option, but it's like, we're not going to, why would we throw a pass against you if you can't stop if we get 12 yards on first down?
It's kind of like, what year was it, 2018, 2019 up there, or 2018 in Missoula, 2017, when they completed like 2 passes?
Yeah, Chris Murray. Yeah. So it's crazy. I've never seen a bigger beatdown in that game. There's been some lopsided scores, but it never felt quite like the way the Grizz just absolutely got dominated in the trenches, and right away, like that first run was 12 yards, and you're like, that's not going to work for the Grizz.
Would it take 5 or 6 plays that first scoring drive?
I mean, wow.
And then Lucas answers, though. I mean, great pass to Malik. I'm thinking we got a game, and then all of a sudden it was like, what just happened here?
And the shootout, I thought it maybe would end up being a shootout too, but then when you run the ball like that, though, and you just defeat and deflate the team, like, there's just no coming back from that once the score gets out of hand. I think if Lucas Johnson doesn't fumble or get tripped or whatever, at 28-14, I might have some hope. If that's where it's good at halftime and the Grizz get the ball, maybe we have a game. But then what happens? He fumbles, they go down. And I know they only got a field goal, but it was 31-7. Yeah. And I mean, like, all my Cat friends out at their tailgate were like, I don't even know if we were going to go back in. and part of that was probably just rubbing it in my face, but like, part of it was the reality of the game was the second half was going to be pretty boring. You know, so, and most Cat Grizz games are not boring.
No, they're definitely not. Hey man, I appreciate the time. I'm glad you tweeted, and I'm glad I responded, because you're going to be on the show a lot more, so we can talk sports.
I'll do it anytime, so just let me know.
All right. Well, hey, have a great tennis season, but we'll chat before then.
Okay, sounds good. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jason.
George Ferguson joining us, Mike Miller State Farm Hotline via the Airlink, and it was a fun conversation. Didn't know how that was going to go yesterday when we were tweeting back and forth, but that was fun. Appreciate guys that come on the show when they have a disagreement, because there's a lot of guys and gals that don't, because they're afraid of the moment. But not George. We'll get him on. We'll talk some Frontier. We'll talk some high school hoops and stuff this year, wrestling. It's going to be a good time. All right, let's do On This Day in History. It is November 21st, National Stuffing Day. It is Red Mitten Day and Gingerbread Cookie Day. 1902, baseball's Philadelphia A's and Phillies formed pro football teams to join the Pittsburgh Stars in the first attempt at a National Football League. Also on this day in 1902, the very first night football game was played. Philadelphia Athletics beat Conewayola AC 39-0. Happy birthday, Stan Musial, born on this date in 1920. Troy Aikman, the great Hall of Fame quarterback, born on this date in 1966. On this date in 1946, The Best Years of Our Lives, a film based on a novella, Glory for Me, was released and won the Academy Award the next year. The only reason I bring this up is because Helena native Myrna Loy starred in it. Speaking of movie debuts, 30 years later, on this date in 1976, Rocky debuted. Best Picture of 1977. 1980 on this date, do you remember where you were? TV show Dallas, Who Done It, revealed who shot JR. It was a then record 53.3 rating. Over 83 million viewers. 76% of TV watchers in the U.S. were tuned in to find out who shot JR. And it was, Sue Ellen's sister, right? Man, It's on this day in history. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
The walk-off presented by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. And you can stop in for the best Cajun this side of New Orleans. Lots of great stuff. Thanks to Kyle Mihalish for joining us. Capital High winning state, Big Sandy winning state, Lewistown winning state, Florence repeating, and Belt. A lot of long-time droughts ended, except for in Class B where Florence goes back-to-back. 11 years, 28 years, 22, 21 years. First time ever for the Pioneers of Big Sandy. Congratulations. And congratulations, of course, to Montana State. Football, athletics, university as a whole, hosting College Game Day was great. Pat McAfee, even though he picked the Grizz, I enjoyed watching him. The old coach, Lee Corso, putting the cat headgear on. Awesome. I think it was the 99th headgear he's picked. And it was also the 41st state that College Game Day has visited. Montana also happens to be the 41st state in the Union. We'll do it again tomorrow. Alex Eshelman will recap a wild weekend in Bozeman. Make sure you join us. Appreciate for all of the texts, tweets, emails, all around great support. And thanks to our sponsors as well. We couldn't do it without you. We'll do it back here tomorrow. If you missed anything, go to jasonwalkershow.com. Alex Eshelman, tomorrow, right here, Jason Walker Show.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.